Hey guys, we're Dudes Being Critics here with our very first review. Connor, how does it feel?
You know, it feels great. I'm very excited doing our first ever film review.
Yep.
And we're doing it for a movie you may have heard of.
It's a small one.
Yeah, it's a pretty small one. Avengers: Infinity War.
Yep.
A little indie.
It is just. I think it crossed over $1 billion. I think in its opening week, something crazy like that. Obviously,
not
huge
a very well-known
blockbuster.
cast, you know.
No, I mean, who is it? What, like Robert Downey Jr.,
Chris Pratt, yeah.
Chris Pratt. I mean, these are small scale people. I mean,
Chris Evans, yeah.
Exactly. Scarlett Johansson, Mark Ruffalo, Don Cheadle, Benedict Cumberbatch, Tom Holland, Chadwick Boseman,
just to name a
Zoe
few.
Saldana, Karen Gillan, Tom Hiddleston, Paul Bettany, Elizabeth Olsen, Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan, Idris Elba, Daniela Guerra from Walking Dead, Pierre Dinklage, and Benedict Wong. Just to name a few. And Batista. Dave Batista, yes.
A small
and Vin Diesel, and Bradley Cooper, Gwyneth Paltrow, Benicio del Toro. Benicio?
Benicio del Toro.
Benicio? I think it's Benicio. It's Benicio.
No, it's Benicio del Toro.
Are you sure it's Benicio? Okay, and Del Toro. Josh Brolin, Chris Pratt, Sean Gunn, William Hurt, and Michael James Shaw, and Stan Lee, and Winston Duke. Yeah. Just name a few.
You done?
I think I'm done. I think the joke's over. But this movie is no joke. It is no laughing matter. It is depressing. It's fun. But is it Marvel's best? Tell us a little bit about the film.
All right. Well, basically, it starts out that Thanos is trying to find the Infinity Stones, you know. Obviously, Doctor Strange is in possession of one, the Time Stone. We saw that. Loki's in possession of one, which doesn't last very long. Mm-hmm. And,
yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, let me continue.
Spoiler alert warning as well. I think
right there.
We'll put that on the...
Big spoiler alert.
Yeah, big one.
Anyway, Thanos is going around trying to collect these stones. He ends up capturing Gamora because she knows the location of the Soul Stone. Mm-hmm. He ends up killing Gamora because the Soul Stone requires a sacrifice. That's kind of a big deal in that movie.
Was a big one, yeah.
We'll get to that later. This drives Peter Quill to... hit Thanos in the face multiple times because of how he feels. We'll talk about that too later. Yeah.
That's
a pretty big scene. And that actually stops them from getting the Infinity Gauntlet off of Thanos' arm.
And ultimately, Thanos...
dooms everybody, because Thanos then gets the Time Stone. Yeah. You know, he got the Soul Stone from sacrificing Gamora. Then he goes and kills Vision, gets the Mind Stone, and...
people start vanishing. People start disappearing.
Yes.
The face of the earth. Very
people
interesting.
Who we didn't think.
We're going to talk about theories as well towards the end of what we think may go down the next one, what really happened at the end.
Interesting after credits, too.
I love the we'll get to that later, but I will say I love the ending. I love the dark tone of it. Very different from Marvel. However, I do have some quibbles with it. A little worried about the next one. We'll get to that. So right off the bat, it's directed by the Russo brothers. They did the Captain America films, which I thought were the best. I thought they were the best. Winter Soldier may be the best.
I think Winter Soldier,
done.
I was going to say that. Winter Soldier I think is the best.
Without a doubt. It's funny, because it starts off, I feel like most Marvel movies where they have the short character introductions,
even more so than the Avengers did.
Which is fine. But for me, when you have these quick little intros... for the characters, I feel like it's unnecessary at this point because we know them already. You know what I mean, though? Like, I feel like they could have honestly went straight to it. And then the whole...
I feel like they did want to go straight to it.
I think they... But even with, like, Iron Man and, like, the whole... Oh, it was a baby... I thought that was a bit forced. Like, I feel like it was kind of like... I didn't know if I needed that. Like, them walking and, I thought it should have honestly just went straight down to it. Because, like, that's the thing. Like, I do like character development. Right. That is one of the most important qualities. But when it comes to Marvel movies or just superhero movies in general... I don't really need that, especially at this stage of the game when there's been so many films released. But that's a very small con right off the bat.
Yeah, right.
The one thing that is obviously spectacular in every Marvel movie and it really shows here are the visual effects. I mean, they are absolutely fantastic. That's the one thing they really, really nail down. Some of the action set pieces here were absolutely easily some of the best that Marvel's done ever.
The suit looked great on Spider-Man, and on Iron Man being like the nanites thing that he was doing.
Yeah.
And I thought the effects of Thanos, how they made Josh Brolin look like that, looked great. And his henchmen too, his little bodyguard group. Yeah, the Black Watch.
I gotta say, Josh Brolin did a brilliant job.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, really,
he was probably the best part of the movie.
He made Thanos easily the best villain Marvel's ever had.
Yeah. Definitely.
Along with the writing team, they really almost humanized him, and that's the first time I think Marvel's really done that. They kind of did it in Civil War with the villain, but at the same time, like, you know,
I don't see in Civil War. I feel like they didn't put enough time into the villain.
No, I agree. Yeah, but
because
like,
they kind of just like showed him. They almost did like similar to what Batman vs Superman did, but I think actually worse.
Really, yeah,
because they just like showed him. They're like, all right, here he is. He's doing this. He's doing this. It's kind of cool. You didn't know he was doing that. All right, here he is.
Yeah, you know, I did like him though because he was smart about it. He's like, you know, because all the other villains tried taking him on physically, and that obviously hasn't worked. So he says, let's take him out from the inside.
That
which I thought was very brilliant. But yeah, I think Thanos is actually a fully developed villain.
Yeah,
I would argue one of the best superhero villains there's been. Personally, best ever, probably since Bane and Dark Knight Rises. I mean, that was obviously a Joker is
Joker. No, I don't
hands
think
down the best villain in my opinion. But anyway, yeah, the cast is great. Obviously, Downey Jr. does a great job. Chris Evans, Hemsworth, I thought stole the show with the Guardians.
He did.
With
He
Chris
did.
Pratt and
Yeah.
Gar- They all were. Thor and the Guardians were, without that, in my opinion, the best part of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seeing their interaction. You know, Star-Lord. You know, trying to impress Gamora. I thought it was hilarious.
That was great.
A little, I mean, kind of ridiculous, but also it was very funny. And what I will say though is the theater laughed more than I did. The audience did.
True.
And what I mean
feel
by
like that's
that,
every Marvel movie I go to.
yeah, I think some of the jokes didn't land for me. I would even argue most of them, but there are a couple of you know, some really great wit kind of spliced in there. That's what I like about it. Marvel has almost their own brand of comedy. With this one though, sometimes I feel like they may have overdone it. Like, you know, it might be the great example of that is Civil War when they're fighting on the carrier.
Yeah.
You know, they're cracking jokes while beating the crap out of each other.
Much, yeah.
It was too much.
This one though, I feel like they had the right amount of jokes and the right characters made the jokes.
Okay, yeah.
Like Spider-Man was cracking. Like I want Spider-Man to crack jokes because to me Spidey makes jokes.
His pop culture references and like aliens and that was
like
hysterical.
and with Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man, I want him to crack jokes. Like if you notice, what's his name? Captain America. He didn't really make that many jokes, which I thought was pretty good. You know, guys like Captain America, Black Panther, they didn't. Yeah, he's not a character that I think makes jokes like Spider-Man would. Like Spider-Man's a witty character. He beating you up and he's like cracking jokes. Like
exactly, yeah. But yeah, you know, a little con here with the film, I would argue, is not enough. I would say Scarlett Johansson. I feel like she's barely in the movie. I thought Black Widow was
I thought
barely in the movie.
Steve Rogers, Chris Evans.
Yeah.
Captain America, Steve Rogers.
Yeah, and even like
barely, those
and
those
Bucky
three,
and Bucky. Yeah,
Falcon,
those three. That group was
the
not
Captain
in
America
it.
group was not, which is surprising because the Russo brothers.
Exact. That's what I said. I thought it was really interesting that they were like I did love though that they had Doctor Strange in it for the. I mean, he was pretty much the front runner, and I love Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, I love Benedict Cumberbatch.
I would personally, Doctor Strange was a top 5 Marvel film for me. I loved it. I thought it just came out of nowhere. I had no expectation for it, and it hit me like that. And that goes back to Infinity War with expectations. And you know, we saw it. Was it the night it came out? Did we see it?
Day, yeah, we saw it the morning.
So we saw it before the hype, I guess you could say.
Yeah, before the hype.
I'm looking right now. It is on IMDb ranked 16th. Best movie of all time.
I do not agree.
Which I mean, IMDb tends to do that with superhero movies, stuff like that. I mean, if you look at the top 250, it's not a great list. Like I would not recommend go see, but it still is a representation of what people really think about the movie. And I've talked to people personally that say it's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
I can't. I can't agree. It's not a masterpiece. It's a hell of a time. It's a fun movie. It does something different, you know. It actually kind of changes up, which is really nice. Russo brothers, great job with the action set pieces. Actually, definitely some emotional moments. Now, to the emotional moments, I've heard people said they wept,
that's kind of ridiculous. Because I mean, when I saw it, I was like, oh no, Bucky, and then like Black Panther went, and I was like, okay, this isn't happening.
Yeah, exactly. That goes to the disintegration part of it, whatever you want to call it.
Disintegration, yeah. When they were like dying, and then like it was like Bucky, I was like, oh no, Bucky, and Falcon, I was like, oh no, Falcon, I was like, not Falcon too, and then like Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther, he came over and he was like, don't die here, and he disappeared. I was like, okay, this is fake.
Yeah, there's definitely
And all the Guardians except for like Rocket, come on, and Nebula.
Exactly. And what I thought was funny is the people that I thought were gonna die were the ones that survived.
Which means they're probably gonna die in the next one.
Exactly. I think, and Connor put it best, is that there will be some form of swap.
Yeah, because if
sacrifice.
Captain America says, we don't trade lives, and like I think that's literally exactly what they're.
That's exactly what they're gonna do.
They're literally gonna trade lives
because they're gonna swap the old Avengers for the new ones. So that's what I found interesting about the people that disappeared. They're the new ones.
If you notice, every person that died, like kind of points out who their tradee might be. The next one.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like Bucky's like Cap, or like
exactly.
What's his name? Rhodey is like looking for Falcon, and what's his name? The Black Panther's guard.
Yeah.
That girl's name. She would give up her life for Black Panther to come back.
Yeah,
easily.
yeah. Was it Okoye?
Okoye. She would so do that. Scarlett Johansson, they probably wouldn't give her because I think they're coming out with Black Panther. I mean, not Black Panther.
Black Widow, Solo, or whatever. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do with the next one. But that's my problem with Marvel films, especially this one, is I feel like there's not a lot of stakes in that. I knew right off that maybe in a miraculous turn they all do die, but they have sequels coming out. Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly. Doctor Strange.
It's not going to happen. Exactly. And Doctor Strange said himself it had to go down this way. This is the only way they were going to live.
The 14 million
out of whatever.
Yeah,
that was a cool scene when he's like, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the next one, but I'm not like worried. See, I like when movies make me worried about their characters. I'm like, man, are they really good? Like this one, I'm kind of like, you know what? We know that the majority of them will live. At least in my book, I don't think they're going to kill off that many. Because you got to realize this is a business. This isn't just for the love of filmmaking. This isn't just This is they're making money. They're making billions and billions of dollars off these movies. So they have to, and obviously they have to, the studio or Disney, whatever the hell, they want things done a certain way. So they won't kill off a ton of people knowing that they can make money off them.
Yeah.
And that's where I kind of lose respect for superhero films personally. I think they're a bit too controlled. That's what I loved about Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, was it felt so loose. Like it felt like a real movie. It didn't just feel like a superhero movie. It felt more in that. It felt like almost like a crime drama, which I thought was awesome with the Dark Knight. Yeah. And that's what I loved about Dark Knight is it was real. Like it seemed, you know what I mean? And I love the whole sci-fi. I love sci-fi.
No, it seemed like it could happen.
I love that, but exactly, it was real. Like there was no there wasn't like a big monster or whatever.
There wasn't no crazy costumes. Like he had a practical costume.
Exactly, and the performances. But
all right. I want to ask you. You didn't talk about character deaths. Out of the ones who survived, who do you think? Do you think they're all gonna die? Or you think like a couple might die, a couple might leave? Like, could you see Thor being like, all right, I can't help you guys. There's only a couple people left survive. Because I heard Valkyrie's alive. And, like, there's still some people from, what's this place? Asgard. There's still some of them alive. So do you think he'd be like, all right, I really have to protect my people. There's not many of them left. I'm going to go do that. You guys can do your thing. Don't call me.
Maybe. That's what I'm interesting to see. Like, I don't know if all the old Avengers are going to die, but I could totally see that happening.
Like, could you see Iron Man being like, you know what, we were talking about having a kid, let's have a kid, forget the Avengers. But I couldn't see him, like, if there was like a huge catastrophic event, I couldn't see him turning his back.
That's what I hope in the second film, is I hope there's, at least the beginning, I hope we get to see them defeated.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, they are just down, because they lost half the population. Mm-hmm. But we gotta remember the post-credits with Captain Marvel getting the call from Nick Fury. That's gonna be interesting. I'm really excited to see what they do with that. We have Captain Marvel coming out right before Infinity War next year. Gonna be really interesting to see what they do with the next one.
You know what would be interesting? Whole thing here. You ever heard of Iron Man? I think it's called Demon in a Bottle.
Nope.
It's a story about how Iron Man gets addicted to drugs and alcohol, right?
Yeah.
And that is the thing. So, like, that's his villain. I think it'd be cool if that's what he turns to after the movie, because he becomes, like, depressed or something like that.
Almost goes to, like, a Logan type switch, you know what I mean? Where it's...
Post-apocalyptic.
Exactly, but almost that, like... Again, he, like, develops, whatever, depression and falls into that. Yeah, that would be interesting to see. Now, quick one... before we give our scores. What do you want and or expect the next title to be? The next Avengers. What do you think the title will be? Or at least an estimate.
I think it's going to be Avengers Endgame.
Okay.
I want it to be Avenge Us.
Yep, and that's what I was going to go to. I want it to be Avenge Us. I think, at first I heard it, and I'm like, that is the stupidest thing ever. But somebody made a fan-made poster.
It looks great.
It looks awesome, and it makes sense, because the Russo brothers said it spoils, I guess, or, what happens in the
Just, I don't know how Endgame is really a spoiler.
Yeah, Endgame kind of like... What was the one that got... There was one that got leaked. What was it? Disassembled? Disassembled?
But I mean, that doesn't make sense either.
Exactly, that doesn't really make sense.
Disassembled would make sense like after Civil War.
Yeah.
Or like an alternate title for Civil War.
Yeah.
Because they got disassembled.
Mm-hmm.
Like They didn't get disassembled on purpose this time. It was by accident. Like, they died. It was like... But like, to me, Avenge Us is like a rallying cry to like, let's go kick Thanos' ass. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
no, I feel you. There was
because like now it brings meaning to the name of their team, the Avengers.
Yeah,
they have to avenge the Avengers.
Exactly, and that's why I love that title, Avengers.
Avengers.
That would be
huge.
But there's another one. It was like Avengers Forever, and like the Russo brothers like replied on Twitter saying like, oh, it's they joked around, but they did hint that it could be like that, which would be interesting to see. Avengers Forever, or maybe the new Avengers, something along the lines of that. To where it would kind of give away, you know what I mean? But it's gonna be. I'm excited to see what they do with the next one. But I'll leave you with this: it's fun, it's funny, great action set pieces. I would argue it may lack some kind of emotional depth. I mean, I think sometimes it was pulling way too hard for it. But sometimes it earned it. The scene with Thor, when he's talking about he's lost everyone, and he kind of starts
he gets really real,
which is very good. Spider-Man at the end,
that was a good emotional scene.
Those were good, but there were some in there, even with Thanos and like even like when he killed Gamora. I feel like they wanted us to feel kind of sad, and I kind of did, but I was also like. But then he wouldn't have done it. Like there was kind of a part of me that was like, it should have been more of an emotional pull. Yeah. Besides that, it was very good. It was a very good Marvel movie.
Do you want to talk about the scene when Peter Quill punches?
Oh yeah, that was a bit ridiculous. Look, it's a fine scene, and it makes sense. He's lost everybody, everyone he's ever loved.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, he lost his mom.
Exactly.
Then he found his dad. His dad was the person who killed his mom.
Yes.
So he had to kill his own father.
Exactly, and then Gamora.
Then he had Yondu, who...
Oh, yeah, Yondu,
who was like his father.
Oh, yeah, he's lost everybody.
And then Yondu sacrificed himself right in front of him just so Star-Lord could survive,
Yeah.
And then just to find out that, like, Thanos took Gamora and, like, killed her just so he could have the power to kill everybody else.
Yeah.
That would break you down.
But there was something like we could have won if you held on for literally 5 seconds. I get you're angry, but we would have beat him. I don't know. I thought it was a bit. I think they could have done that differently.
It was a little forced.
Exactly, but you know what?
And I feel like that makes everybody like hate Star-Lord. And he's one of my favorite characters.
Oh yeah, he's probably the best.
Yeah,
I don't even think worse. So we're doing this out of 10 star system. Connor, out of 10, what do you got?
Out of 10, I'm going to give it an 8.5.
Okay.
I thought it was good, a lot of fun, it had some good moments, but there were times where it's like, when I was watching the movie, like, there were so many other plots going on that, like, they would come back to something like, oh my god, I forgot that was happening, you know what I'm saying?
No.
Yeah.
There's a lot of characters, and I said that before, even a year ago when they announced the movie, I said the biggest problem that Infinity War will have is too many characters, and I was definitely right. But they managed it better than they did in Ultron. I felt Ultron, they completely muddled it, and it just, the characters got just completely confused. This one, they actually kind of... and a little quick thing with the Russo brothers, I thought with the action sequences, or like... I think they definitely improved their camera work, which sounds weird, but like even like... remember in Winter Soldier in the beginning, when Captain America and Black Widow were in like the ship or the one building, and they're like kicking everyone's ass? their camera
on the boat
was not good. Exactly, yeah. It wasn't good there. Like, it was too, like, you couldn't even see what was happening because they did the zoom in kind of thing.
I felt like, that was in this one too. They were like up close and Cap was like punching
Some,
over, so it was like his hair like flailing all over, and he was like, "Get the vision!" And like, he was like flailing, and all you saw was like creatures like flying around the background.
But honestly, in this one, I thought it improved in this one. Yeah. Like, I think in some scenes they actually zoomed out the camera and you could see what was happening. In Winter Soldier, my only big quibble of that movie was that sometimes I didn't know what was happening because it was going too fast. The only movies that I think ever pulled that off was like the Bourne movies with their shaky cam.
Yeah.
Those are that's like the only excuse for me. I thought it was done very well. But anyway, really good. We're going to do some weird decimal numbers here. I'm one of those guys. I was going to give it an 8, but I honestly thought it was too low because I had a great time this movie. But an 8.5 just seemed a little too high for me.
8.3?
8.3 is my number.
Ooh.
Our numbers average out to an 8.4 here at Dudes Being Critics. Any last words?
Yeah, I thought it was just an overall really fun film. You know, when I was going into it, I kept my expectations low because I knew like people were going to be so overhyped for this movie coming out.
Oh yeah.
And I was actually pretty, pleasantly surprised with it, especially the ending.
Yeah.
I was happy with that. The only thing I'm really worried about is their direction for the next film because, I'd be interested in, like, I've heard a bunch of theories. The Soul Stone is a pocket dimension. That's where everybody went. I've heard one, mine where they're going to trade lives. But, I've seen a lot of, like, set pictures where they just got that. You ever see the set picture where it's got the white thing on their hand?
Like yeah.
And I'm worried that they're just going to do the time travel. And it's like, what's the point? What's the point of making this movie if the next movie is just going to be time travel? Let's go back, reminisce on the past movies, just to bring everybody back, and we're going to die. When we could, if they're just going to go back in time and do it all over again, and they're going to sacrifice themselves instead of the new guys, then what's the point?
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Then they could have just killed the old guys in Avengers Infinity War.
Exactly. So, good time, good movie.
Good time.
I'd recommend it. However, it's not the 16th best movie ever made.
Nope.
So if you haven't seen the movie yet, definitely check it out.
I don't even think it's Marvel's best movie.
Recommend it. I don't think it's their best movie, but I would argue top 5.
I would say even top 3.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's definitely one of the best movies.
Winter Soldier, I think, is the best.
Winter Soldier and Guardians for me are my top 2. And it has been surpassed.
Black Panther's up there too.
Yeah. But I'm gonna give it a second watch. Just for fun. But yeah, great movie. Recommend it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Yeah. Tell your friends, your uncles, your aunts, your grandparents if they're into this kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know if we appeal to the senior citizens of the world. Actually, we are kind of ageist. Ageist? So what do you call it?
What does that mean?
Sexist, but ageist. So we're like ageism.
I don't know what that means.
Anyway, guys. Thanks for listening in, and we'll see you later.
Yep.